We've just put together our trading plan. We've just put together our trading strategy. We understand the strategy. We understand the trading plan. We know the risk. Does that mean we are now ready to jump into the live markets and start executing some trades? No, it does not. We are very, very close. But first of all, we have to learn that we don't even know how to actually properly execute our strategy perfectly every single time. How do we fix that? Of course, by backtesting. That is very, very crucial in every trader's journey. You must do some backtesting in order to practice how to actually execute the trade and just get used to seeing all of the confluences adding up, everything that you need to see price do, just seeing it happen, right, on the charts live in front of you. Well, not live, not yet, but backtesting. And then that way we can also see if the strategy we're trying to implement is actually a profitable win rate or not. If you're looking to, let's say, change over a pair, say you're trading the GBP USD like I do, but then you want to move over to the Euro USD, you've got to backtest the strategy, see if it actually works out better or the same, depending on how the results were in the GU sort of outcome, in order to know that it's a smart idea to actually change over and then be able to trade on that pair instead. So how do we actually backtest? Well, it is very, very simple. First of all you got to do is, of course, we all have a TradingView account. You do not have to pay for anything in order to do some backtesting. I know that you can use the replay mode while in the free version of TradingView, but I'm not exactly sure how far back you can go in order to, view the 1 minute chart a certain amount of days back. So potentially you may have to sort of pay for that if you just want to do it on TradingView. If not, there is also another website that I have found that you can do some backtesting on, and it's basically TradingView but on their website, and you can set up like an entire session based on a start date to a finish date. It's completely free. If you trade, I think it's like a month worth of price action is free per maybe month, I'm not too sure, but I'll show you that in a little bit. But for now, you guys can just start on the TradingView platform. Obviously on the free version, I'm not sure exactly how far back you can go in order to see 1 minute candles. Obviously, I think on the replay mode for daily candles, you can like go as far back as you want, say to this candle. But then if you go to switch to the 1 minute, you can see this little thing down here, data point not available. So I even pay for a different version of TradingView in order to go back a little bit further. But again, it only shows a certain amount of candles on the 1 minute chart. So that is why for my backtesting, personally, I did pay a bit more. There's different prices, right, for the TradingView. And obviously, the more you pay, the more candles you can get. So I did used to pay a little bit more in order to go back a pretty far way. But at the moment, I no longer use TradingView. If I am to do some backtesting, what I use is this little website called FX Replay. I am not sponsored or affiliated with them at all. So this is completely free. Off my back, I'm not getting money for this. So FX Replay user, been a little bit lucky for this. Anyway, as you can see, like time invested, I've literally spent 9.5 hours backtesting on this platform. 7 months worth of historical time has been played. I've gone through 7 months worth of price action. As you can see, these were the pairs I was looking at. GBP, USD, I've traded the most on because that was a bunch of backtesting that I had to do. I basically did, I think I've covered 7 or 8 months. Oh no, well, we've got 7 months total up here. But potentially that whole 7 months could have just been the GBP pair, because I'm pretty sure I've traded that much. As you can see, it says overall win rate here is 21%. Ignore that because there is a way you can set it up so that you can actually enter into trades. I did that a little bit and then just ended up stopped doing that because it took too much time figuring out my lot sizes and then putting it in. All of that, we don't really need all that. So I ended up not taking trades. Obviously, as you can see, only 19 trades were taken in 7 months worth of price action. Obviously, I'm getting a lot more trades than 19 within that time. So if you would like, set up a free account on FX Replay, and then I'm not even sure if this is what yours will look like. I think it will. Mine is currently the free version. And then if you scroll down, you can see create session. Basically, you want to open that. You can name your session whatever it is. Just I like to name it my pair, right? So GU. You can set a starting balance like to whatever you want if you're going to be executing trades. So if not, that's not too important. If you don't want to see the actual sort of money value going up and down, that's completely fine. I just tracked it like on sticky notes and shit on here instead. So that's what I did. But then you can go assets and choose in here what pair you're looking to trade. So for me, it was, of course, GBP USD. You would select that. Obviously, you can add more as well. That's completely up to you. And then for the chart layout, what is this? I think, yeah, I guess I didn't do any of that. I guess it's new layout. Who the hell knows? Anyway, and then you can set the initial date to the end date. So for me, I would start in like, say, the year before. So being 2024, I would have that as 1st of January 2024, and then having the end date at the 31st of December 2024. And then you would just, let me actually fill that in. Let's just go a random one. Let's go from there to, I don't know. Wait, we can't go there. Let's go from back a little bit. We go from December 9th last year till pretty much now. And then you go create session. And then it'll jump up. It'll set it all up for you. Before you go into it, if you press this little edit icon, I think it's here, and you want to go to this one, the date range. Over here, just flick on smooth candles. With this on, it'll make sure that the candles are opening and closing at the same points. So like candle closes here, the next one opens there. Sometimes the candles, when it's not on smooth, it'll close there but open there. It just creates a lot of gaps everywhere. Makes the charts a little bit messy in terms of how we want to look to trade. So definitely look to flick that on if you're using this. And then, yeah, you can go view session, and it basically takes you to the exact same chart looking like this. You can set it up, you can customize it to match your chart, however you had your chart set out. You can save the tools at the top as well. It is TradingView just through this thing. So it's pretty good. I won't lie. I did pay for it in order to do a bunch more backtesting. Obviously, you've seen I've done 7 months worth of backtesting with it, so that's very good. But I'm not here to sell you anything because I'm not even getting paid by them. So to be honest, I probably shouldn't have even showed you that. I should have just told you about TradingView. But then again, you would have had to pay for the TradingView one. So either way, in order to do a lot of backtesting, you're probably going to have to pay for something, right? Unless there is a free one out there that I don't know about. This one is you get a whole month worth of price action for free. But I'm not exactly sure the time frame on that. Anyway, play around with that if you want. It's not too important. The main focus of this lesson is to, of course, understand why we want to do backtesting. So what I would do as well while, learning how to trade is after a entire week of price action was done, like this week, for example, then I would just take price back because I'm pretty sure on the free version, you should be able to go back at least a week's worth of price action. That should be 100% fine. And then just backtest the week that you had. So obviously you'd go, okay, Friday's candle closing below the low of that. I'll look for a bearish day. On this day though, I should have avoided it. I didn't avoid this, but this was a learning point for me. This is, of course, another reason why we do our journaling, of course. As we can see, this is what I was talking about with the smooth candle things as well. The candle closes here, so the next one should open here. This is that weekend gap sort of thing I was talking about too. So this candle opened all the way down here, which was a freaking like 100 pip distance from the close, right? Obviously, there's no trading over the weekend, but the world still moves, right, over the weekend. So there is sort of some trades going on in the background that we're obviously not going to see. And then sometimes over the weekend, you do get a gap like this. I should have avoided this day because the gap was so big, and the gap does tend to get filled, which was, of course, against my daily bias, the way that I had it being the bearish bias. But then I would go through again and I would be like, okay, look, for this next day, I'm going to be looking for buys because we opened below the low, but I'm going to count it as wicking below the low, closing back above it. That would be my daily draw on liquidity. And then you just jump down the time frames and go through executing a trade. And then you would do that through the next day. Through the same week, you'd basically just go through the week as if you were trading it live, right? But we're not trading it live just yet because we're just practicing getting the flow of what it would be like. And then that way we can get used to seeing all of our stuff happening at once. We can get used to the strategy. We can see how many wins and losses we would have been taking for the week. And it's also a very good way to see how price action moved throughout the week and how different days would have reacted, potential news days as well that could have been coming out. All of that stuff happens in backtesting. But if you're not backtesting, then you're not practicing your strategy. In the live markets, this shit is real, right? If you make a mistake, you're paying for it. Every single mistake made in these markets is costly because it's literally coming out of your pocket, unless you're on a demo account, which we will go through in a couple of lessons time, maybe even the next lesson. But every single mistake you make on the live markets is you paying the markets, right? And we, as traders, don't want to be paying the markets unless we have to, right? We're obviously going to have to pay our markets because not every day can be a winner. But if the day should have been a winner and we're making mistakes, we're taking losses, that's not good. We have to learn from that. This is why we backtest on the weekends. That's what I sometimes still do as well. And then this is why we backtest before we even jump into a new strategy. We've got to make sure that it works. We've got to make sure that we understand it. We've got to make sure that it actually makes money. By backtesting our strategy as well, we're not adding in the emotions that come with watching live price action, because obviously there is a lot of emotions that do come while you're watching live price action. A lot of stress, a lot of panic, a whole bunch of different things. We obviously cover some psychology stuff in a little bit. But when we're backtesting, we don't have any of that pressure. We can make a mistake, we can come back and tweak it right then and there, and it doesn't cost us anything. That's why we have to backtest when we're learning our new strategy, which is exactly the point that you guys are up to. So I need you, do this as your homework. I need you guys to at least backtest like a month's worth of price action, which you can of course do for free on the FX Replay website by setting up a free account. If you want to pay and do a bunch more previous price action, definitely do that. I would recommend the FX Replay website. It is pretty good. Sometimes it is a little bit slow, but it is very good in the sense that you can like enter trades if you want to, and it tracks all that. I personally don't enter trades anymore, obviously, as you saw. But before we even go any further into this course, I need you guys to do at least a month's worth of backtesting with the strategy. Whether it's my strategy or your strategy, it doesn't matter. Just do at least a month's worth of price action, month's worth of backtesting, and then take the results. Was it a profitable month that month that you're backtesting? How much percentage profit would you have made? Don't worry about the dollar amount, just a percentage amount. If you would have made, let's say 10%, that's perfectly fine. Eventually, that's a 200K account, making 10% being 20K, right? Perfect. What an incredible month. So jump on, do some backtesting, journal every single time that you're entering into a trade. Take photos of it if you need to. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you've got it written down somewhere. I'll show you guys the backtesting journal that I've got going on for my GBP USD, right? First of all, every sticky note is a month worth of price action. Each one of those has a month worth of price action. So this is, I think, 7 months worth. One was negative, one was break even, and the rest were winners, some bigger than the others, of course. And then in this book, I'm writing down every single trade, every single position that I enter into while I'm doing the backtesting, practicing. I write down the date that I take it. I write down the risk to reward if it does hit, and I highlight it in blue. I write down a short or a long. I write down the time that I enter. I circle it in red if it's a loss. I take down all of that. Obviously, got the fun stuff on the back where I work out the numbers and the mathematics and all that stuff, but that's not too important. All you got to focus on is the win rate. Focus on win rate. Identify like what it is that you're winning, why you're winning on some days, why you're losing. Go over the losers. Are they normal losses to be taken? The winners, did you do everything right? All of that stuff. It is very, very important. Like, if I'm already years into this and I'm still like backtesting at this extreme example, then you should be as well. And I guarantee you that there are other traders out there also backtesting just like this, potentially even more. It's practice, practice, practice. It's repetition. It's refining it. You just need, it's like the daily draw on liquidity. How I said that thing will just become second nature, which it is. You need your entire strategy to become second nature to you. You can't be making mistakes while you're in the live market, because it's going to be costly, especially in the future when you're risking bigger amounts of money. It's going to be costly. It's going to affect your psychology, and you don't want to start the week off with a couple of mistakes and just like start tumbling through, cycling through, and just falling into the trap of making mistake after mistake after mistake. That is how accounts are blown, and that ruins you. But of course, that also goes into your psychology, which we're going to be getting into in a couple lessons time. So for now, do some back testing, practice the strategy. Do it to the extreme of that, to be honest. That should be your homework. But I need you at least to do a month's worth before we even think about getting onto the live charts. But with that being said, I am going to explain in the next lesson what we're going to be doing in terms of trading live moving forward. So be ready for that. Do some back testing. Don't even watch the next lesson until you've done like a month's worth of back testing. At least I need that shit written down before you even click play on the next one, okay? If not, I'll be disappointed in you, all right? So do it.